Episode 2.
Yeah, we out here.
Oh, it's gonna be annoying. I'm taking this headphone off because I don't like it. Alright. The first album was Run the Jewels. Ain't that right, Alex 2, the Buckaroo, the Brenton, Onion Boy?
Yeah, I agree. Album 1, RTJ, Rat the Fuck. Great album. I love it. It's not one of my favorites, obviously, but obviously I'm a big LP and Killer Mike fan, and it's a really great culmination of where they were at in their careers at the time.
Yeah, it was definitely. It feels like a cornerstone of I don't know, just the kind of stuff I'm listening to right now.
Well, I mean, just if you go into LP's like production history and you go from like Company Flow to fucking the stuff he did for Cannibal Ox and Fantastic Damage and all that, there is like a really clear line of progression to how he gets to Run the Jewels. It's really clear because it's basically New York boom bap shit for a long, long time with his weird like techno futuristic raps and samples, and then he hits rap music, cribs a bunch of shit from people from Georgia and Southern rap, and then just rolls that forward with Run the Jewels and Killer Mike.
Yeah, it seemed like at least LP for the most part before Run the Jewels was trying to go from like a deconstruction angle, come at rap a little bit different.
Well, if you want to know what LP is deconstructing, he's deconstructing the Bomb Squad, the people who produced I think it's America Triple K, but they were a production group out in New York. They did a couple Ice Cube's albums, but his stuff is like very similar to that.
Okay, I don't think I knew that.
There's obviously some other influences from other stuff here and there, but like the Bomb Squad is like really foundational to a lot of New York rap.
But Run the Jewels does feel a little bit different from that. Like they're kind of getting back to basics.
Well, I'd say they are. Run the Jewels 1 is like basically an EP. I think it clocks in at like 35 minutes with the deluxe edition. It's very short. It's like 10 tracks.
It's, this is an anecdote, but it's basically the only time I would listen to it usually by myself. It takes about counting 2 tills.
All right, yeah.
This is a question for my sake. Are you making the Simpsons joke where Homer says, here's a good antidote? Or are you just legitimately messing up anecdote?
My lips are a bit dry. I'm a bit nervous. I had a very frustrating half an hour trying to get this all to work. I was really ready to record an hour ago, and it's been a draining half an hour. It wasn't on purpose.
Okay, I just couldn't tell.
I'm also just low energy this part because
I watched the Simpsons episode where that joke was said recently.
We watched a lot of Simpsons episodes lately.
Not really.
You got me, Burns, bitch.
I watched like 8 Simpsons episodes.
Killer Mike's my favorite Simpsons character.
He is in a cartoon. He shows up in South Park.
Is that real? What?
I thought you said a cartoon, not a slideshow.
Well, I guess that would happen.
Fuck you, Trey Parker. Fuck you, Matt Stone. Acid's cool.
Fucking yeah, Killer Mike does an old person rap on one of the seasons of South Park. He's also on that HBO show Animals, where he does a rap with Big Boy as a fox.
I do remember that one. All right, I guess I missed out on the South Park rap.
South Park really is the connoisseur of arts. I have 2 South Park albums that we're gonna eventually have to do, I guess. Fucking Chef. I don't remember who the actual voice actor for Chef is.
Isaac Hayes.
Amazing music.
Yeah. It's too bad he got absolutely fucked by Scientology.
Then they made a shitty episode about it.
Honestly, that episode, I get why they made it though, because they were legitimately friends with Isaac Hayes, and then Isaac Hayes got legitimately fucked by Scientology because he had a stroke, and then they essentially took over his life.
I don't like Scientology. I'm sorry, Run the Jewel fans, all, but this is now a Scientology podcast. Scientology, dumb, obviously dumb like every other religion, dumb, but I'm not gonna lie, has some interesting lore. It's a good sci-fi.
It does have good lore. Scientology lore is very funny. Did you ever watch the Leah, is it Remini or Raimi documentary on Scientology? The girl who played the wife on The King of Queens.
The fuck's Kings of Queens?
King of Queens is the sitcom starring Kevin James.
Took a minute to register.
Brenton, I don't know what that is.
That's, you know what, that's fair. Some people listening to this might. I hope so.
I'm leaving it in. Fuck them.
Yeah.
Fucking Run the Jewels. I should probably talk about this before this part's over. I don't dislike Run the Jewels. I want to make this very clear. I can listen to it and I think it's fine or even good. But it goes in one ear, out the other. It has no staying power in my mind. I forget it 2 seconds later. And honestly, I'm not that interested in it.
This is like literally their least interesting album
I'll say.
of the 4 Run the Jewel albums.
I think what you're saying isn't off base. It is on point for like the kind
It's
of
quite
style.
based in Red Pill, yeah.
Well, okay. Compared
Fucking
compared to their earlier stuff, like if you go look at Killer Mike's rap music or LP's Cancer for Cure or I'll Sleep When You're Dead or fucking I Pledge to the Grind 2, Run the Jewels 1 is essentially an EP where they have decided let's be each other's hype men. And it is not that deep compared to their later albums. Like production-wise, it's excellent from end to end because LP is an incredible producer. That's why he's produced so many albums. Rap-wise, it's excellent from end to end because it's 2 rappers who have put out like... Fuck, LP had put out like 4 albums and Killer Mike had put out like 5 or 6 at the time. Coming together and putting out a really solid 35, 40 minutes of music.
Yeah.
Alright, hold on, pause.
I'm a labradoodle, and
We're
3,
talking
2, 1.
about it like not being terribly serious.
Okay, the energy that they carry forward in this album is Killer Mike and LP were touring together after they had put together R.I.P. Music and Tougher Colder Killer on Cancer for Cure. And they were going out, they were performing as Killer Mike and then LP. And then they were coming out and doing like 2 songs together or 3 songs together. And they would do Run the Jewels and Tougher Colder Killer and I think Butane is the one that LP is on rap music.
Butane.
Yeah.
But they would come out together and they would get bigger cheers than either of them would get going out alone. And so they took that energy and their initial track, Run the Jewels, and they just ran with it.
They ran with the jewels.
Essentially, yeah.
Call back to an earlier moment. So, butane. Funny story about butane.
Let's get into it.
Once upon a time, I had a even more degenerate roommate than me. We'll call him Seaman. And Seaman told me that butane was safe to huff. It's safer than whippets. It's safer than... Yeah, it's better for you than smoking weed because it doesn't damage your lungs. That's not true. So for the longest time, I thought butane was safe. Till one time, I was on mushroom pills at Alex's house and Brendan's house.
I think it was my house at the time.
It wasn't your house at the time.
I think I was just hanging out here.
And I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna go grab a shirt from my car and huff some butane. And they hid butane from me.
Yeah, it was a fun conversation being like, listen, I respect your bodily autonomy and being like, let's fuck shit up. But also, like, I feel like a bad friend. And just coming to the realization that, like, wait a minute. This isn't a joke? Y'all are really, like, concerned?
Because I thought, maybe thought it was weird. But I was genuinely lied to and told, oh, butane's the safest one, trust me.
Yeah, that's fucked.
Not the worst thing he does.
Yeah, but that's still fucked.
But yeah, huffing butane, if you were thinking about it, don't do it.
Listen, the moral of the story, kids, is the same guy that will secretly sip coke onto your weed may not be a trustworthy news source.
One time I was smoking pot with this one... I'm hesitant to call him very gay kid from mine and
God.
Alex's high school. But he was pretty gay.
Gay science?
But I was just, I was just smoking pot with him, and he looked at me and he was like, Brenton, there's not acid on this pot, is there? And I was like, what? What the fuck are you talking about? I felt very called out, even though I really shouldn't have been. Cause like, come on, man. Come on.
I gotta watch out for that. People putting acid in my weed.
Would that work?
No,
Absolutely
acid
not.
burns.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It fucking flames up like fucking dummies.
Do.
Brandy, obviously you're very neutral on Run the Jewels 1, and that's fine. It's the most neutral of their 4 albums. We'll eventually listen to more Run the Jewels, and you'll probably have more of an opinion then, because they are deeper albums.
It doesn't help that the other 2 albums of this are fucking home runs.
I feel like
Yeah, Hot Dreams is a really good album, and so is Operation Doomsday.
I've got an anecdote similar to what you were saying. I remember putting on a Run the Jewels music video, and you were like, what is this music video? What is the point of it? And it's just Killer Mike and LP hopping around, just making...
Which one?
I think it was Light Sheet Steel.
Oh, that one's just cool because it's nicely animated.
Yeah, they're just hopping around, just making, like, gang signs, just rapping. You're like, what is the point of this? It's like, I don't know. They're just
True to the brand of Run the Jewels to me.
Yeah, they're just bouncing around.
Doesn't exist to me. After that conversation, that video fucking disappeared. I know they were on Cyberpunk, and I've got mixed feelings on Cyberpunk, but...
Oh, Cyberpunk the game is bad, but their Cyberpunk song is a fucking bop.
It's nice and cute.
Trans fetishism is a thing that I'm not a fan of.
I don't think I looked into that. All right.
I understand that it is problematic, especially in the context of Cyberpunk, but I do think that examining, not specifically trans fetishism, but fetishism in general in art is interesting. It's why I like Hellraiser so much, because that's essentially BDSM fetishism turned up to horror.
Yeah, how do you feel about blaxploitation films and the history of...
Black Dynamite's fucking awesome.
Yeah, it is. My Name is Dolomite? Fucking 10 out of 10.
I haven't seen that, is it? I heard Eddie Murphy is really good in it.
11 out of 10.
Oh, okay. Have you watched any of the Rudy Ray Moore films as they are originally?
I have seen about an hour and a half of all the films just clipped together and stuff.
Blaxploitation as a genre is, in its name, exploitative. Blaxploitation as something to watch from the perspective of now, man, I love blaxploitation films. They are ridiculous. But yeah, they are bad.
Okay, so I forgot which one it was. There's one of the movies where for the last 10 minutes or so, it's like a car chase in the middle of a field because it's the only way they can get the 2 heads together. The one where the racist white guy goes on a black body or something.
Oh, yeah. I know what one you're talking about. Oh.
I don't know.
I don't remember what it's called.
Back to Run the Jewels, and there's a connective tissue to it. There's one line from all those movies that I remember the most, which is, "Bitch, are you for real?" Great scene.
Bitch, are you for real?
And then there's one, and only one sentence from the album that I remember, from Banana Clippers, right?
Yeah, the song featuring Big Boy.
It's something about I wrote your mom a sympathy letter. You raised a bunch of fuckboys. Next time, do better.
Yeah, that one's
Told her she raised a bunch of fuckboys. Next time, do better.
a strong one. That one persisted like as a Run the Jewels anthem, essentially across all 4 albums. Whenever you see them talk in interviews, that usually gets brought up.
Speaking of interviews, so
that Killer Mike Bernie interview is very
yeah,
good.
I listen to that when I count tills at work sometimes, and yeah, this may be shocking to hear. Left-wing podcast for the most part, besides Alex and his slightly Nazi, he just collects memorabilia.
Alex actively advocates for death camps. Sorry, guys.
You guys
be
don't know
Alex
the deep
fan.
state. Q, the plan is coming. You guys
This
are
is
just
the storm.
non-believers.
Q is just Jesus, the third coming Jesus. Come on, makes sense.
It's why I have that picture that's just Jesus that says, "I was Q the whole time. You trusted the plan. You made it," and it's just somebody in heaven.
All right, editor Brandy, you better have that.
I'll send it to you again just to make sure.
Oh, you sent it like twice in the last 2 days.
What's one more time?
Fucking.
What's one more time?
If I can save Zelda, but who's gonna save me?
That's a classic. I guess my final words about Run the Jewels. I think the album's pretty good to listen to when you get high and you want to try and figure out an album, and because you haven't listened to it before and it's somewhat complex, quite good but somewhat complex. It's too complex, and the mood is you're high and you can't understand it, and oh my god.
So, I have a whole bunch of notes here. I wrote down notes, not this last time we listened to them, but the time before that. I think the note I most want to share. As with all LP music, it's good. I wish we'd get. However, I wish we'd get more features from his Def Jux days, because he used to run a label, Definitive Jux. But this hasn't happened yet on any Run the Jewels album. But I would love to see Aesop Rock on a track, or Cannibal Ox, or Ill Bill, somebody like that. Or it'd just be nice. And I think overall, Run the Jewels 1 is probably the weakest of the Run the Jewels albums, but that's a lot like saying that Run the Jewels 1 is like a bronze medal compared to like 3 fucking golds right after.
I will say, a band that only ever does better with each new album is that's a good thing.
Well, so there is debate. I think I like Run the Jewels 2 more than I like Run the Jewels 3, but I just think Run the Jewels 2 is a little tighter. But Run the Jewels 4 is definitely the best of their work.
It's got the low poly hands this time now.
Yeah,
instead
definitely.
of zombies.
It feels like they're trying to push themselves a little more each time.
Well,
It's like Goku.
As what was said when Run the Jewels was initially formed, they wanted to put out 4, like, maybe not perfect, but 4 of the best albums possible, like EPMD.
They'll keep making music, but none of them are gonna be good anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the next thing, because it's not going to be called Run the Jewels 5, as specifically said by Killer Mike and LP. I think the next thing that I heard they're working on was they were tooling around with Zach De La Rocca, and they were going to make a Rage Against the Jewels album.
That sounds cool. They should get Bernie Sanders involved.
There is actually a Bernie Sanders opens for them at Coachella video where you get a little bit of Bernie talking about Run the Jewels.
I just said that so I can get the picture on there. The fucking...
I need me a Bernie mic drop.
You got anything to say, Alex?
Run the Jewels, we're going to close up.
I should also say probably the best song on the album, production-wise and rapping-wise, is Sea Legs. Maybe Christmas Fucking Miracle right after.
Original or the remix?
Original. Mm-hmm. The remix on the deluxe is nice, but I always like LP's production more.
Deluxe versions of albums are cool.
Yeah, there's 2 different versions. They're just about the same, but there's some extra songs. I definitely gotta...
It's like 2 remixes and then Pew Pew Pew.
Pew.
Pew 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 is a good song, though. It probably should have just been on the album.
So, when I think about Run the Jewels, please crucify me for using the same analogy twice. Whenever I think about Run the Jewels, I imagine just how fast the words are coming and how tightly packed they are, just flying out a window, out of a car.
Did you say that already?
I don't know. At the very end of the last podcast, I was like, it's driving music.
Yeah.
Roll down the window.
I would say that is literally what they're going for, considering how often they picture themselves in cars.
Yeah, honestly, they rep their own imagery quite a bit. I don't have too much more to say other than like I keep doing more stuff.
Keep
Like-
to the hippity, the hoppity, hip hip the hop. Come on now, you don't stop.
So you got a few more things.
I give it a 7.5 out of 10.
7.5.
Are we doing ratings now?
I'm down.
All right.
I wrote them down in my notes, so I'm gonna use them.
I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 23.
Oof. All right. I hear that. I'll give it I'll give that 8.5 out of 10. Because, like, I barely see any problems with it. But I think the only real problem I could possibly have with it is just... It was the first time they had really gotten an idea that they wanted to express. And I feel like after their first album of Run the Jewels, they definitely understood the idea that they were trying to express.
Well, they also adhere to one of my favorite tenets of making albums. There's no fucking stupid skits except one.
Skits are cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, but skits are like filler. Skits
This is a conversation for later in the podcast.
Yeah.
Skits.
That's what
MF
I was gonna
Doom!
Skits can be good and interesting and add to the ambiance and atmosphere of an album.
The score has some of the best ones.
Honestly, yeah.
Channel 4.
But skits are also boring
I'm got a breaking point.
because I'm gonna skip them.
A family's gonna rat on you.
But the only skit in the album is Prince Paul on what is it? Twin Height Back?
Yeah, that's it.
I don't know what that is.
That's the name of the song.
Is that on the album?
Yeah, it's the one where the guy goes, "I'm Ches Rockwell."
Again, don't remember that. You're lying to me.
Please put your hot dreams on my face, Alex.
That
I
may
have
be-
hot dreams of men and women.
Alright, so we're here. We're still talking about music, if you hadn't gathered that.
This time we're talking about wood Timbre.
I'm sorry, what? A gazootite?
So,
no.
so what is other freak folk besides Timbre Timbre? Obviously, we're talking about Hot Dreams by Timbre Timbre. Like, I would say there's a couple of Violent Femme songs that hit there.
Yeah, folk punk is very similar to where I
think-
usually go to.
Well, fuck, what is it? The one where you...
It seems very
Oh, man.
widespread. Like it has lots of like mixtures with other genres. I think the only thing I can think off the top of my head is like Animal Collective, but I can't even think of why they would be under the
They're-
same genre.
They're not... They're, like, maybe a little folkish, but they're honestly, like, pop, kind
Yeah,
of.
they're really loud and bright as opposed to like, I don't know, weird and subdued.
The specific Violent Femmes song I'm thinking of when I think of Violent Femmes and Freak Folk is the song Country Death Song.
I see. I was thinking of
Yeah,
that, but
which-
it's a bit more.
That is like a fucking Freak Folk song.
That's one of the best songs.
Or there's a couple Sturgill Thompson songs that are or is it Simpson? Sturgill Simpson? I don't know. Can't remember his fucking last name. That I would call
Good work,
almost
Simpson.
Freak Folk.
I would say, specifically, "Bring Me Simple Men." It reminds me of the main theme of the Low Road, an indie game. "Take Flight."
Yeah, that
"Take Flight" is a good song.
It
Then
does- it
then
does
it's
sound
not.
like
In general, the voice in this, because it's the only album by them I've heard, it reminds me of a deeper, older version of the main singer from the Mountain Goats, which I discovered the same way a lot of people might have, which is Moral Oral.
We listened to a little bit of Mountain Goats today. I think I'll start getting into them. That was
Mountain
pretty
Goats is
good.
I can't wait to listen to them while doing acid.
Ooh, that'll be an experience.
Fuck you, wife.
Alex, if you end up liking the Mountain Goats, you should go look at the rest of the stuff that Dino Stamatopoulos has done.
Okay.
Because Dino Stamatopoulos has done some weird shit. You've listened to him on Harmontown, absolutely.
Yeah, that name sounds
What?
familiar, but like,
The guy who made Moral World, the literal showrunner creator, is Dino Stamatopoulos, who is a Greek Hollywood guy who did a bunch of work with Dan Harmon. In
that
fact,
guy.
he plays Starburns on Community.
Fuck Community.
Hey, I know you don't like it, but that's a bad opinion.
There was 2 good actors on it.
What, you don't like Allison Brie?
Who?
Damn. You don't
Listen.
like Danny Pudi?
Listen. Larry, I'm on DuckTales.
You don't like Donald Glover?
He's great. I said 2.
You don't
Everyone else can die, especially Chevy Chase. Fuck Chevy
like
Chase.
Chevy Chase? Chevy Chase is hilarious.
He's
he
a
might be a
racist.
piece of shit, but he's hilarious.
He hasn't been funny in 40 years.
I don't know. He's hilarious on Community.
You keep saying lies. Alright, enough of how much I fucking viscerally hate Community. It's the,
I don't know. We could just keep it going.
listen, Community is the fucking game theory of comedy shows that my friends like.
There's a couple friendlies in Smash.
I'm gonna come in the streets.
So Hot Dreams, eh?
Yeah. All right. So Hot Dreams. This is by Timbre, a Canadian band.
They're Canadian?
Yeah.
Ooh,
Maybe
I
that's
love
why-
Canadian bands.
Maybe that's why he sounds so old.
Canada's all the
I
best
could see
musicians.
that. So, I think usually the vibe I get from a lot of their work is kind of cinematic, because not all of their songs have words. Like you know the pizza episode of Breaking Bad? Like they've got a song in there. So
Breaking Bad.
yeah, they've definitely got like experience working with background or like ambient music.
Say my name.
But like this album, especially Hot Dreams, I think definitely leans way harder into the cinematic side of how you can look at their music. I remember reading that.
Does Hot Dreams have any music videos? I haven't watched any of
I
them.
think
so.
it's got 2 music videos.
I'd like
What
to.
songs?
I'd like to see what those look like, and then reassess cinematic as a qualifier for this album.
Are you aware of Off the Air, the Adult Swim segment? They just do weird filmography, like cinematography projects.
Oh, that's cool.
Off the Air is really interesting from an editing perspective because they put a lot of work into their transitions. Because they put a lot of work into their transitions and such.
Well, that's how I came across Timbre.
You know, all transitions do take effort, though.
Who was playing one of their
Trans
music
rights.
videos. So they've got 2. For the first song, Beat the Drum Slowly, and then Hot Dreams.
Beat the Drum Solo is pretty nice. So's Hot Dreams.
Beat the Drum Slowly is a great song.
Yeah,
Although, I think personal favorites for me off of Hot Dreams are Locomotion, Grand Canyon, and The New Tomorrow.
Ooh, I thought we were about to have the same ones. I agree with the first 2. I love Locomotion and Grand Canyon, but my
Very
favorite
good, very
song
good.
is Bring Me Simple Man.
Bring Me Simple Man is very good.
I've listened to that song 30 times in the last 2 weeks.
The
Not an
little
exaggeration.
riff in it, the dun, 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 is very good.
Yeah, I
It feels almost like a fucking Bond song.
think I gotta give it to just straight up Hot Dreams is my favorite song.
I'm stupid. Do you know what the beating guitar reminds me of?
What?
She's a Big Boy Now.
Yeah, a little bit.
I fucking love that song.
Yeah, that fits.
I listen. Similar to how Hot Dreams makes me think of... So Brenton drew fucking MF Doom. I'm gonna take a picture of that.
Yeah, I while I was listening to the MF Doom album Operation Doomsday, I just drew a little.
Oh, wrong way.
I drew a little MF Doom in my notebook, and I went, "That's gonna make me laugh when we record." It's just him saying fart box.
Listen, MF Doom. I mean, obviously I'm the one who picked it. I like him a lot. He's cool. I think that if MF Doom... What if he was a folk singer, though?
I can imagine.
So, like, I'd love to see more black artists really stretch their vocal range. Like, Killer Mike has a great voice. I'd love to hear some Killer Mike fucking gospel music.
You know, he got to cover fucking the Slick Rick song from Behind Bars. Sitting in my car.
That'd be good.
Slick Rick in that song, he sings, and it's a little goofy, but I enjoy the vulnerability he has there.
This is a weird opinion, but like almost all of my favorite parts on Old Dirty Bastard albums are when he just starts singing. And it sounds like fucking trash because he has a bad singing voice, but
He has a bad voice.
yeah, but it's perfect for rap. Because your voice does not matter in rap. Like, What matters is how interesting you are.
You know, I think that's right. I haven't really found a rapper that I can be voice racist against.
Like, there's a couple that I'm like, oh, I don't like how their voice sounds. But if their rhymes and production are interesting enough, I will listen to them.
Like Danny Brown, Jesus, his voice.
Yeah, Danny
is
Brown?
shrill.
What the fuck?
But he can spit some bars.
Fucking, like, Hate Kids, Boom My A off of Brother Jules 3. Fucking, I infest like insects, doing incest. Fucking, I don't remember what the third line on that is, but it's fucking ridiculous.
It's dense. It's very tight, that song. Let's see. Talking more about Hot Dreams a bit.
Oh, the lead singer sounds like an old man.
That was their third album, right?
Yeah, that's their third album.
I had only listened to one previous Timbre album before this, Creep On, Creep It On, which is a good album. I've listened to it many times. I just had never expanded into their
Cool name.
other discography.
Yeah, it's definitely self-aware.
However, the lead singer definitely sounds like an old man in that album. He's like, I am old.
Let me drop an anecdote. So me and Brenton, and I think our friend George are doing acid. And for some reason we have to drive. Horrible experience. Loved it. It was awful.
Sounds fun.
So we're on the road, and we're like, let's listen to some Timbre. And we put it on. And it is just incredibly haunting. And like, wow, this is too intense. Let's switch to something happy. So we switched.
Let me
Was it the other way around?
hit this. No, let me just hit this with
What's
one
up?
piece of it. I wasn't on acid at this time.
Okay.
I was sober. We were going to eat Mexican food. with our friend.
No. This was at night. At least I think so.
No, this was definitely during the day.
Because I remember you changed the music because you were like, this is too sinister.
Oh, yeah, that's correct.
And then
That's correct, but somebody definitely wasn't on acid. There was somebody sober in that car.
Wasn't
yeah.
me.
yeah,
I don't
But-
think it was me or you. It was probably George.
yeah, but we put, essentially what I'm trying to say is we put on like a super happy Beatles song, and it was just like the antithesis to how Timbre feels. Just like not happy, just very
Melancholic.
melancholic, not straight out like mad or sad, but just kind of like muddled and emotional. So talking more about Hot Dreams, so they're Canadian, the band, but I don't think this album has any particular story. It definitely has a theme, but it was made over the course of a few years while the main guy went on a trip to California. I'm not sure if it was all made in California, but that was definitely the inspiration.
So did he pass by the Grand Canyon? Because he talks about flying over the Grand Canyon.
I think that's a real account that he's talking about. And I think he like actually went down and checked out these sorts of things. I don't know if he was like, I gotta go write a song about the Grand Canyon, dude. But I think he definitely went on an adventure, and it had some sort of, I don't want to say spiritual experience, but like he felt a theme and some sort of vibe, and he was able to pick up on it and recreate it.
He became a cowboy.
Absolutely.
He's a cowboy, baby.
Why would you?
Because I'm a piece of shit.
You could have went JoJo.
Yeah,
You could have went
I know.
so many other directions. And you went to Kid Rock.
Yep. Did you not hear when I called myself a piece of fucking shit? I said this earlier, not on a podcast, but I'm basically just playing word association with myself. I heard cowboy, and I was like, let's spin the lottery wheel.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of a competition to see who can jump to the next word. We're not recording podcasts because we're introverts who don't like talking.
yeah, you thought that was my cue to talk, right? Of course not.
So I looked him in the eyes and was like, all right, Alex, set up perfectly. Fucking...
Oh yeah, I dropped that ball.
Oh, I thought it was on purpose. I thought you were fucking
it
on
was
there.
on purpose, but like, ball gets dropped.
You fucking slapped it on my hands.
Alright, so I think I'm ready to come to like my final conclusions.
I mean, it is a hot dream.
Yeah.
Album sucks. 9 out of 10.
I want to buy this
Okay.
album.
Yeah, I definitely gotta buy this album so I can hold it in my hands and be like, nice.
I'll buy the CD. You can buy the vinyl.
My final description is I'm extremely tempted to call it hauntingly beautiful, but he says a lot of things in this song that kind of perturb me. Like, I promise to follow through on all of my... I'll follow through on all my promises and threats to you, babe, or the song Run From Me. I don't know. He mixes, like, ideas of love with, like, being sinister.
I would say
So I don't want to call him beautiful.
the theme of this album is predation.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like he's self-aware of how whatever character is being portrayed through this music. Because it's definitely image-heavy, this music.
I don't know. Again, I want to see the music videos and rethink on that. That would be an interesting rediscussion later.
The Hot Dreams one, it's live action. You get to see the actual singer sing.
Does he look old?
Yeah, a little bit. He looks kind of very bald.
How old?
I'm giving it like 30s. That's
Fucking
what he
God
looks
damn
like.
it.
I mean, that's
Like,
nothing.
It's not. Yeah. Yeah.
No, he's
Fucking
not.
old. I
Uh,
was old when I was 12.
so when it comes to this album, I didn't really get a big overarching picture. I hyper-focused on one song, Bring Me Simple Men, and it really made me think of communism and how much I like Karl Marx and Frederick Engels.
Nice.
Also, I think his voice is sexy.
Voice is sexy.
My
It sounds like an
fucking-
old man. Though.
I'd fuck his voice.
Marvel vs. Capcom 3, Fate of Two Worlds, Ultimate.
Is this when I'm supposed to say, do you want to learn how to do a fucking infinite?
This is the stage we set.
Listen, my opinion and my view of MF Doom is forever linked with basically the reason I know about and listen to him, which is Fighting Game Club, where I would play Marvel 3. I only actually got to play them once. We're going to call them J. They're they, them. Trans person who really likes MF Doom and playing Doom in Marvel vs. Capcom 3. And listen.
That's really funny.
Yeah, listen. I think that there's a pipeline between, listening to MF Doom straight into being a Doom player. And it hurts. But I remember specifically we were up at Western, the Bellingham College. Or
This is just like how every Biken player has 3 anime OPs downloaded at all times.
Do you? At Behemburst, there was a guy who was a Biken player who got second place. He looked the profile.
Well, sometimes you can just tell.
But our set went, it was 8-2 in their favor. They got 8 wins, I got 2. But they shouldn't have lost to me ever because I didn't know combos or anything. But their neutral was shit. So I just come back as Virgil, third character anchor, how it be. And they were pissed.
That's a sick burn. Did you see how fucking shit I am? You suck.
Now, to be fair, I
It's
do win, a fair amount just because they're used to playing people who are really into fighting games and really know what they're doing. And so I do things they don't expect. How often does someone put their queen in the middle of the field in, the second turn of chess?
Alright, you're just like, how do I even read that?
Can't read shit.
Fighting games? I think the term is Yomi. Is it? Mind games?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it is my games.
But,
You gotta be a villain.
as much as fighting games are learn how to do it and then execute flawlessly, it's also how can you stunt on this man's little mind to play him right into your hands.
Just run up burst.
Honestly, yeah. I've gotten a lot of stupid wins just because I go okay, and then I do one stupid thing and it fucking throws them off.
Marvel's Capcom 3, good game. But back to the actual MF Doom, because no, he did not make the album for fucking fighting game players. He made it using sound bits from the Hanna-Barbera.
Well,
Yeah, we've
He-
got like Scooby Doo in there.
He
Good shit.
So Operation Doomsday isn't like a Hanna-Barbera album because he does have a Hanna-Barbera album, the one that he did with the Aqua Teen Hunger Force guys. That has a bunch of Hanna-Barbera stuff on it.
Doom.
But,
I got the 2015 Deluxe Remaster. Great art. And I have the vinyl with the original art. I'm not a fan of the 2011 art. That's the one which it has his face under it with the yellow teeth. The yellow teeth
that
person.
sucks.
But original's nice, and I fucking love the 2015 with the knife and the lie.
But a lot of MF Doom albums will crib clips from that fucking Fantastic Four cartoon. They're featured pretty prominently in Food as well.
Good album.
Yeah, that's how we start off the album, right? Just with a little bit of just not
Reed
skit,
fucking
just
Richard.
interlude.
Yeah.
Start off the album with interlude.
So let's talk about MF Doom's villain persona for a second. Like, obviously, it spiraled into like a bunch of stuff later. This is one of his earlier albums.
I think it's his debut.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's his debut, but it's definitely one of his first ones.
I think it was his first thing as Doom.
Because he was called something before Doom.
Yeah.
I enjoy that MF Doom comes across as.
I can't wait to bring up the fact that it came out on Columbine Day.
That came out the day before Alex was born.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, we were talking about it earlier. All right.
I think the most interesting part of Operation Doomsday to me is that it is his least persona-filled album. He's not MF Doom per se. He's not coming at this as the villain. He's just rapping as MF Doom.
Yeah, I don't think it was really he had the full idea. I think it was just he was riffing.
I mean,
He was like, rap's got something.
one of the mid skits, I think it's track 9 on the CD I have, is literally like has two people talking about him drawing and making up the character and being like, "That's you. Come on, it's you, man."
All right.
And then track I want to say 19 Heroes and Villains has a more break it down and like the sort of talking. I enjoy when rap albums have like a more talking, less beat focused final song. This is of course based off the fact that Hip Hop Is Dead by Nas is my first like. It's what really got me to, start listening to rap and stuff. And In That Hope is a fucking amazing song.
But, yeah, I'm just, like, you got later stuff like where Doom did that whole album as Victor Vaughn where he disses himself, or Food, he does a lot of stuff as Doom. It feels, the word I'm going to use is engineered, but that's not a bad thing in the case of MF Doom, because Doom's villain persona is very strong and interesting and leads to a lot of good music. But as his first album as MF Doom, you can tell that he's speaking as... What's MF Doom's real name? You can tell a lot of it is him speaking as his real name, instead of as MF Doom.
I wouldn't say engineered as much as tailored.
Well, I use manufactured would be a better word in this, because Doom is a manufactured persona. He's not that. Like...
He's a fucking cheap character.
Daniel
Fuck you if you play
DeMille.
Doom.
Daniel Dumile. Dumile? I don't know how to pronounce that.
Whatever.
But Doom the character and Daniel DeMille are obviously separate, because Doom the character is a fucking supervillain.
Yeah, I think you can see that on a few songs that are a bit more, I don't know, they feel cheesy. That's not a bad thing. Like, there's one that's like describing a kaiju battle. That song's great, but it feels silly. It feels like I'm watching a cheesy kaiju battle movie instead of actually being scared of a villain.
This is just how I think Doom presented himself, but Doom always kind of presented himself as the rap persona taken up to 11, in my opinion. Because what MF Doom is, the supervillain is essentially taking you know, the persona that gangster rappers like Snoop Dogg or Ice Cube or Easy, even though they were actual gangsters, would adopt in their songs, you know, how they portrayed themselves, and just crank that.
I mean, Ice Cube wasn't a gangster.
I mean, that's why I used him.
Mm.
But he would adopt the persona of a fucking gangster.
I said, hey, Ice Cube could beat me in a fist fight.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know who could beat him though? Ice-T.
Yeah, absolutely.
Listen, fucking Ice Cube goes up to Ice-T, and before he can even throw one punch, I got news for you. That's gay.
Let's talk about Ice-T for a second. Brandy, you ever listen to the Ice-T song Cop Killer from Body Count?
Doesn't he play a cop in NCIS?
Yep.
So I don't know any music by Ice-T. I only know him as his voice is weird and he says dumb, funny things.
I don't think he's on NCIS, though. I think he's on
Special Victims
Law and
Unit.
Order SVU.
Oh, whatever.
NCIS is its own thing, Brandy.
Yeah, get your acronyms.
Man, I sure do love police procedurals. ACAB.
Listen, it's what we're all about in this house. We got Brooklyn Nine-Nine playing downstairs. So
Brooklyn Nine-Nine's fucking bad.
Yeah, but I like it. It's like popcorn.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
That's a good analogy. I enjoy some characters. Terry Crews is beautiful in everything he does.
I'd squirt butter on him.
Well,
Like the politics of it is awful.
Obviously obviously just cops in general are a bad look right now. All cops are bastards. But damn, do I like looking at fucking God, what's his name? The Lonely Island boy.
Oh, you're talking about Andy Samberg.
Damn, do I like looking at Andy Samberg make funny faces.
He's a man-child.
He's a goofball.
Yeah.
I would not kiss him on the forehead to sleep.
Oh, shit.
Plus, I'm a pretty big fan of Andre Bronner as Captain Raymond Holt. Just very funny. I like me some
Good
deadpan.
performance. I'm not a...
It's
What that character represents, I'm not a giant fan of.
I agree that it's probably not the best representation, but Andre Bronner is very funny.
Stonewall was a riot. I'm sorry, Doom. Listen, I think it's a good album, and I listen to it a lot, but it really feels like... Some of the songs, I feel, don't mesh together well if you're going to listen to it at one time. Like, I have a very different feeling when I'm listening to, per se, Who Do You Think I Am? And Rhymes Like Dimes. Or Rhymes Dimes, I forgot the name of the song.
Yeah, you
It's
got
not
it.
like times.
Those two songs are songs I just have in general playlists. I enjoy them. They make me feel good. However, Tick Tick is my favorite song on the album, and it makes me fucking... It's a very different feeling. But it
Thanks for bringing that up. 'cause
Red and Gold feels good, too.
That feels bad.
You don't like it?
You're saying Red and Gold and Tick Tick are like top tier.
Yeah.
I'm like, Red and Gold is top tier. That might be my first or second favorite song on
Red
the
and
album.
Gold is like my least favorite song.
Fucked
on
up
the
and get his
album.
man killed.
I was gonna say Tick Tick sits at the very bottom for me.
Wow, really?
I do not enjoy when he says speed it up, slow it up, speed it up.
That's
Slow
one
it
of
down.
that's one of my favorite. Speed it up, slow it up.
It's got one of my favorite... It's got
I hear him say that.
some
and
of the
I'm
best
just like,
lines. I mean, the best line in the album, I think, just hands
Well,
down, is
even the
in
verse
Rhymes
from
Like
Lines.
Dimes.
Tick Tick is the best fucking production on the whole
Oh,
album.
dude, I love it. But,
I can't disagree with that.
of course, everyone talks about how good the line, only in America could you find a way to earn a healthy buck and still keep your attitude on self-destruct. But I really enjoy when he talks about God and the devil told me it was the best.
Greatest of all time, God straight up told me. Greatest of all time, the devil even told me.
You know, as
God straight up told me.
always, MF Doom just has beautiful raps, beautiful lyrics. Everything is good and interesting, or is a weird enough line that you have to take a second and be like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
While still flowing perfectly.
Now, we all say we like this, but about 3 or 4 months ago, I would receive some message. A while ago, I was the only person that openly liked him a bit. Or what's the right way to put it?
I think you were the one that was actively listening to him.
Yeah.
I had listened to some songs, but I was just like, yeah, it's MF Doom.
POV, you're a loser.
I still shit on MF Doom. He's dead, whatever.
I had listened to Food. I'd listened to this.
He's not a good person.
I had listened. I'm actually not sure about it. MF Doom's personal life that much, but I do find
Fucking drones.
He's a weirdo.
I do think MF Doom sending out people to fucking perform his concerts hilarious.
All I gotta say though is, I didn't get to try his macaroni. For all I know, that could. Listen, Nietzsche talks about how, in his worldview, doing great things is the actual morality thing. So like MF Doom, for all his wrongdoings, could be forgiven. Not for his raps, they're good, but how good is macaroni and cheese?
That's true. I have heard good things.
I haven't heard any of this. What's going on? Mac
If
and cheese?
if you like the song Tick Tick, I would recommend the MF EP that MF Doom did with the guy he did Tick Tick, MF Grimm. It is I think it's 8 tracks. They're all good.
Yeah, he's on this album, ain't he?
He's on Tick Tick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the other guy.
Definitely, there was a few features that I don't think I had noticed the first few times I listened. Like, what's his name? Megalon? Jeez, he's on like
he's
three...
on a bunch of songs. He's on a couple other Doom albums as well.
I think I might actually just start picking him up and start listening to him just outside of Doom.
King Ghidra is also good.
Yeah, he...
I must say, everyone...
kind of stand out.
I don't remember anyone's names, but everyone on Who You Think I Am is fucking amazing.
Yeah, everyone gets their fucking time to shine on that one.
How many tries did it take you to listen to MF Doom the first time?
1.
Because it took me like 3.
I think it was like 1 or 2 tries. I tried listening to Food, and I just wasn't interested.
I would hit like the 3rd skit, and I would go, I can't fucking handle this, and I would turn it off. And it took me like 3 tries before I listened to the whole thing.
I listened to that Adult Swim one.
I still don't like that one.
That one has good songs, but honestly, the more I listen to it, the more I don't like it. But yeah, listening to, what's it called, Born This Way or Operation Doomsday definitely turned me on to Doom, actually wanting to sit down and listen to a full album.
The Metal Face album he did with Czar was really good as well.
Yeah, that came out like 2018.
That's fair.
Yeah.
See, that's Doom over some good production, which he needs desperately. Because honestly, about half the time I listen to a Doom song, I'm like, why is this production bad?
Yeah, it's fucked up. The
most fucked up travesty of any Doom song is the original version of Cookies, which samples a Sesame Street song. Got fucking eliminated from the album version because it sampled a fucking Sesame Street song, and they couldn't clear it. So you've got this fucking killer ass great beat that I love on the original, and then you've got a fucking trash piece of shit beat that I hate on the album version.
Damn, that's painful to hear. You want to talk about samples a little bit? I looked into some of the samples on the album. There was a few standout ones, like definitely the Hanna-Barbera stuff, but I saw some Steely Dan in there.
There's some fucking nice Japanese voices.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I would say it definitely affected how I think of sampling. Hell, I'm a big fan of sampling. I always have been. But I think specifically the way he does some of the things is interesting. I specifically really enjoy at the end of Tick Tick, the Japanese girl.
All right, I like that. That's definitely a standout part of Tick Tick.
I pretty much said all I can say about Operation Doomsday. I'd listen to him rhyme over a fucking blender. 9 out of 10.
Oh, no one even talked about Gas Straws. Great song.
Oh, yeah, Gastrol. That's one of my other favorite ones. I didn't even say my favorites of this album. Tick Tick, Gastrolls, and The Finest.
Mood for the album, I'll just say it right now, is playing, Marvel vs. Capcom 3 Ultimate.
It's an album of thuggery.
I'm gonna say, I have a certain like tendency, especially towards specifically the Doom You Fool, because I remember specifically as it said that I got a level 3 X Factor Virgil with DT to do the not the special with the blades, but like the spinning blades special, and I just started doing the fucking. There's a light combo you can do with Virgil that's just like the same buttons over and over again, and I chipped him to death.
That's funny.
While listening to what song? Gastrals?
No, it was the one of these skits.
Oh.
Doom,
the-
you fool!
Doom, you
You
fool.
almost killed yourself as well as I don't remember the name. But Doom, you fool played right as I fucking killed him, and he wasn't playing Doom for the final character, but that would have been perfect. Yeah.
I think I'm ready to give some final thoughts.
Final thoughts?
It's definitely a silly album, and that's intentional, but I feel like there's moments of truth in it. Like, I looked into a few lyrics, just surface level. Apparently that Red and Gold song is about, like, changing seasons, but it's also about, like, an actual murder that MF Doom was involved with. So he says, like, maybe he's just talking himself up, but it sounds like he can switch between talking about comic book characters to talking about something that actually happened in his life. So I give it a 9 out of 10. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I like this album a lot. It's one of those albums that I don't listen to it for 5 or 6 months, then I put it in the car, and then because it's got enough quality music that I want to listen to anyways, it will usually be in my car for at least a week. Listening to it at 10 to 15 minutes at a time.
MF Doom should learn how to
He can't, he's dead.
not be dead.
Hot take.
Hot dreams.
You know what? I'm not going to take that lesson when I die.
He should be like Yoda and come back as a Force ghost.
Yoda's a dumb bitch.
I think Yoda might be my least favorite.
Oh my god, are we going to get a Rise of the Skywalker for MF Doom in like 30 years?
Yes.
Like he's just been fucking around force healing
No.
No. That's a
No, we're gonna get an
MF.
MF Doom hologram like he's fucking Tupac. I fucking swear.
That will actually piss me off.
There
And-
might be a right.
And you know what? It won't piss me off because MF Doom put out the drones. You know what? I accept MF Doom hologram.
No, they should just continue the drones.
It should just be like a real robot though.
How much money do you think that costs?
I don't
Million?
care. I don't care.
Depends on how hard they went in it. If they just
It could just be playing MF Doom songs from a speaker in its mouth as far as I care. I just want a
I was
fucking
gonna say
robot.
a mannequin that's just slightly moving around a little bit, like a little bit of animation
That's fine.
as it goes. And then at the end, they shoot like bowls of macaroni and cheese onto the audience.
They should, if they're gonna make it that simple, they should let the audience tear apart the mannequin at the end of every show.
All I can think about is just MF Doom looking like Max Headroom or something. It makes
What?
me sad.
Who?
Max Headroom. It's
Do you not know Max Headroom?
It's a man wearing prosthetics so he can look like an AI, and then
I don't want to know.
created it.
I don't want to know.
It's 80s,
I don't wanna
it's
know.
80s
I-
bullshit.
I'm gonna show you a picture. I'm
I
sorry.
mean, we're
Is this
talking
like the $1 Million Man?
No.
kind of, except not at all.
I've been told
Maybe
about
in
the
a
$1 Million Man by older people, and I tell them that's a stupid idea for a show.
No, because it wasn't a show.
It was just like, I don't know, a concept. What was he made for?
He was like doing news broadcasts almost.
He's
like
okay.
this.
He's made for as like a concept.
He looked like he belonged in a Trojan film. Or a trauma?
A what?
I said Trojan, but I think it's a trauma. I forgot. So they do these cheap, terrible movies.
Yeah, Trauma.
Trauma.
They did Toxic Avenger. That's their big thing. That's like literally their most famous, in my opinion. Or Tromeo and Juliet.
I didn't like, but I accept the one where it's a fast food thing.
I don't remember which one that is.
It has like Trauma, the guy himself. in it,
A lot of them do.
and he's just shouting at the main character for being a fucking idiot. The main character in that, by the way, is a cuck. A beta cuck loser.
It's been a while since I
Relatable.
watched any Trauma stuff,
Yeah.
just because I am no longer the age of 12 when they appealed to me. Probably watch more Trauma stuff. It's mostly bad, but it's all interesting.
I'm a poser. I only know Trauma through Achievement Hunter. And then one of my favorite Achievement Hunters, turns out he would have really liked you when you were 12.
I'm glad I don't know anything about Trauma. It sounds like a bad time.
It sucks.
It's like, I hesitate to call them B movies because they're like C movies.
I think that...
But
I think-
that's not fair to them because they are legitimately made with way more skill than you'll see a lot of B movies be
I'm
made.
sorry.
I'm going to say this right
You
now.
failed movies.
Trauma films are better than Amazon Video movies.
Yes. Yes.
And honestly, they're about par to on Netflix. Fuck you, Netflix. I don't want a sponsorship. I know they were looking for those sweet views. Fuck you, Netflix. So after this podcast, you guys want to watch Cuties?
Oh no.
I heard that movie was
Oh no.
boring. I heard that movie was boring and uninteresting.
I thought it was a TV show.
Depends. Do you like kids shaking their ass? But there's a message.
From what I heard, it's not about kids shaking their ass. It's just a fucking disgusting poster.
You know what? I'll trust you on that.
This is the level of movie they make by Trauma.
Oh, I fucking hate the Toxic Avenger.
I think I see what you're saying.
Any final words for this podcast episode?
Don't watch Toxic Avenger Part 3, The Last Temptation of Toxic Avenger.
There were 3 of them.
There's 4 of them, at least. There might be a 5th one as well.
We really do live in the fucking timeline.
Use this opportunity to gouge your eyes out
There's
and
another
only
one.
listen to music.
Shut up,
Sure.
Oedipus, you
Surf Nazis
motherfucker.
Must Die.
That movie's good.
I love Surf Nazis Must Die. I'm just trying to show Alex, like,
This is a new world I'm entering. What the
Trauma.
fuck?
Yo.
Let's see, where is
Alright,
Tromeo and
I'm cutting
Juliet?
things now.
king ghidorah?